back. The first FRL of the official college wrestling season. That's right. Still no CP. That's why we started our time together. I'm joined by John Buzak today and Ben Askren from Wisconsin. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We had our weekend. It was very busy. It was kind of occupied last week. Rosters got here. Lineups were set. Other stuff. Did it.
Good. Smooth. What were some of the biggest matches and results?
Well, really a lot of big matches between us. The one that wasn't, one I got kicked out. That was a big upset. Yeah, so we were solos in Super Wrestle, over Dash Wrestle, over and you want to hear something preposterous? Okay, I wasn't coaching the team that he was on. I was coaching the team. But, you know, like if he had a break or something, wander over and kind of help the whole team. Shane's got blood coming out of that. And, you know, so I'm going over there, I'm like, hey, why are you grabbing him? And they said the trainer told him not to grab him. You know, he's kind of got a lot of hair, so he's kind of looking through there, what's up, you know. And so then in the last match, he started bleeding. Where's the guy? This is big. And got the match done. He has to beat him. And you know, I'm like, hey, I guess it's not that bad. I guess it's not good. It's not that bad, but make sure you clean out really well. Make sure you glue on it, you know, something good to make sure it stays cut, stays closed, and heals up. And I went and told his dad too, and I guess they went and looked at it, and like, damn, it's a bad cut. And he had to get 6 staples in his head. And the trainer told him he shouldn't even tape it. What?
That trainer's tough. That trainer's old school.
Old school trainer right there.
Rub some dirt on it.
He didn't get to wrestle the second day because he had staples in his head. Sad.
I guess we got some music going in the live stream. So I don't know if people can hear us talking, but they're jamming out to the intro music still.
We don't hear it in our ear.
No.
I don't hear in my ear.
Yeah, it's to wake the people up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was really good. It's perfect for us because we get, you know, we get what 6 matches, and it's pretty close to home. We had 5 different AWA teams in there, so a lot of matches for our kids. Awesome weekend, and I think you can watch all those matches on Flow. Bunch of college coaches need to be checking out Ben Bass because he beat 2 nationally ranked guys this weekend. He's won a state title before. He's kind of a little bit under the radar at this point.
There you go, Ben Bass.
Bast.
What weight was that?
Just gonna make a fish joke.
What weight was that reigning match at?
The 120. It was the one that wrestled 120 Fargo. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He kind of hammered him. It kind of wasn't really competitive.
Is he going to Super 32?
No, I thought he was registered, but then he just told me he wasn't, and I don't remember. It was actually a kind of pretty valid reason. We aren't huge on sending guys to Super 32. You know, we have some guys go, but it's not like we send the entire squad or anything. But I actually thought Ben was registered. I'm gonna look it up. I thought he was registered, but he told me he wasn't going. No, I don't see his name on here actually. Yeah, I guess he's not going.
Okay.
Unfortunate for him.
Rainey, the match was at, what'd you say, 6 or 13?
No. He's the 120-pound Rainey. And then there's also a 113-pound Rainey.
Right.
And that one is the one that I think he's dropping to 106, right?
I think that was the plan, but I think now he's going to 113.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he doesn't really look small.
So
I think he'd be a gigantic 106.
So yeah, I think we're gonna have David Bray on Thursday, and we can do a good Super 32 preview for all you high school fans out there. The biggest probably high school tournament of the year outside of maybe Fargo. It's probably even bigger than Fargo too, though. Actually.
Well, I mean, the thing about this versus Fargo would be that, wow, yeah, they're registered at 113 and 120. I just looked up the Ring Brothers. The difference between this is that it's a singular division. In Fargo, you may have as many
Right.
people, but they're split between the cadets and the juniors.
Same with trials,
And
where you have cadet trials and junior trials.
yeah, yep, exactly. And they're all in one bunch. I mean, I looked at your weight class preview, or I don't know if you had a preview. It's just maybe listed who was at what weight, and some of these weights they were really ridiculous. Like, holy moly, that's a good weight class.
Yeah. No, pretty much all the best kids go now, so
Yeah.
kind of have to if you want to get recruited. Except in Best.
Well, it's already filled up, obviously. I don't recall what his reason was, but he had something good. I don't know if it was a wedding or something to that effect.
All right. Well, maybe the biggest news over the weekend
Yeah,
was
big news here.
yet again Gable Steveson stealing the show. Right after I was
Man
there.
knows how to stay in the headlines. You gotta love it.
Mm-hmm. He knows how to do it. So a report came out from ESPN that he recovered from a heart condition and is now full-time training at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. So good for Gable, bad for NCAA wrestling fans because that pretty much secures he's not going to come back this year.
Well, like I said, I didn't care about his college career. I know Brandon Ingram and the Minnesota Gophers do, but I don't care because he's so good compared to everybody else, But man, I want to see him wrestle internationally. I want to see him wrestle the Iranian and Georgian. That's the match I want to see.
And it also explains a little bit why we haven't really seen him yet on the WWE scene. I think going in, the plan was to pretty quickly put him out there, get him in the ring, and there was some questions around why, some speculation as to, his relationship performance at the WWE, but it sounds like he was just having a heart operation, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. He obviously competed at such a high level and no one ever knew anything differently. Wild, right?
This said he was diagnosed right before the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking into the heart condition a little bit, and it seems like you can have it and not really know about it if you don't have any symptoms, which can happen. And there was some notable other celebrities that had this heart condition.
Who?
Marilyn Manson.
Ooh, the beautiful
one.
people. The beautiful people.
Meatloaf. And remember that UFC fighter Dan Hardy? I guess he had it. After he was
is that
diagnosed,
why he retired though?
So yeah, after he was diagnosed, he didn't fight again. But I guess he was cleared to fight, but then just never went back. Just commentated.
Interesting. Huh. Fascinating.
Yeah. So good luck to
Gable, and then kind of sad for us that we won't be seeing. I would like to see him internationally. Maybe we talk Triple H into letting him do a match with Zare or something like that once in a while.
That'd be nice. Seems like Diaz is gonna go the WWE route too.
Wait, who? Nate Diaz?
Mm-hmm.
No, stop.
He just put up a picture with Triple H and said, "What's next?"
They'll probably do like a one-off or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a picture of Triple H too. I mean, I have a hard time seeing. The Diaz brothers are hard to work with. The WWE will not.
That's true. I don't think they'd play along to just losing willingly.
No, they would not. No, they would have a tough time with that. Hey, the other thing about WWE is our man Daniel Cormier got to be a guest referee.
Yes, he did. He was loving life.
Oh my God, that just made me smile so hard.
It's funny too because he's all about the WWE. He's like a big fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so funny.
He was in heaven.
He really was.
Other big wrestling news over the weekend. Some big commitments. McGowan headed to Princeton. Blair Kidd.
That was actually, I think that happened last Thursday.
Was that last Thursday we got dumped?
Got dumped, yep. Bro, I gotta tell you a story. I'm not gonna say who it is. You want to hear something so funny, JD?
Hit me.
Okay, so this one person was debating this other person. These two guys were talking, and they were talking about how much news comes out on Friday. And do you want to know why the one person thought so much news came out on Friday?
Why?
Because we always talk about the Friday news dump.
You thought it was us.
And they thought it was real. They thought we really meant it.
I mean, the Friday news dump is a real thing where if you want to
stop.
if you want to put out a press release, but if you are trying to hide something.
For wrestling's sake. No, we're talking wrestling.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just news happens when it happens.
When it happens, yeah. And in wrestling, I mean, I would love to think FRL is big enough where wrestling people are consciously thinking about avoiding FRL. I just don't know that we're there yet.
Also, I think, especially in this case, it would be the opposite. Where they'd want us to talk.
Well, if it was bad news, then they wouldn't want us to talk.
Right. But McGowan chose Princeton over Penn State and Ohio State. Those were his top three that he put out a couple days before. So pretty good company there for the Tigers.
Absolutely.
Hit the highest big board recruit maybe ever for Princeton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he is number 11, I believe, right now on the big board. When Patrick Glory graduated, he was 17.
He was really high.
Yep, he was 17. Stout was in the 20s.
Where was Koladzik at?
Koladzik was lower. He was in the 30s or 40s. So, yeah, an awesome pickup for the Tigers. And it'll be interesting to see how he does there. I assume he's wrestling 26 now. He'll probably be 33 in college, you would think.
Yeah, it's a fair guess. So now, you guys did tell me Jim Mullen wasn't going to play. He was going to play football, correct?
That would be my guess. He still hasn't made an announcement on that either way.
Okay, because if that's the case, then there is no one in the top 25 left on the big board. You kind of got to scroll down, and so you got Joel Adams, Camden McDaniel, Sonny Sass.
Camden McDaniel just committed to Nebraska this weekend as well.
You got Sonny Sasso and Joel Adams. Where are they going?
Didn't Sonny Sasso commit to Virginia Tech?
Mm-hmm.
He did. You guys need to update this board.
They probably committed after the board was.
Oh no, this is August
updated.
31, 2022. So you guys gotta update. Okay.
So they committed in September.
What about Joel Adams?
He has not committed yet. He put out.
He had a top 7.
Yeah.
The last I saw.
He
visited Missouri.
Hey, go to Missouri. Great place.
Yeah.
You love it, Joel Adams.
His top 7 is Michigan, Cornell, Nebraska, Missouri, Ohio State, Oregon State, and North Carolina as of August 20.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, man. Big board's all the way almost done.
Mm-hmm. There was a big 2024 commitment.
AJ Heeg.
He flipped. Yeah.
He's at 2023.
He's 2023, right? Yep.
Which I thought that was because didn't he? He's originally from, I believe he was originally from Illinois, and he moved down there, and almost genuinely.
He's been an Oklahoma guy, but he's from Edmond.
He is from Illinois originally. I promise you on that.
Okay.
Let me look it up to make sure I'm not full of crap. But
Well,
I want to say they moved over Corona.
I think the story is he went to Edmond, and then
Yeah, you know where he's from. No, you know where he's from. Where's the chat?
is he?
He's from Lamont, Illinois. Keith Gothard, baby.
Stand
That's
up,
where he's from.
Clemente.
I knew that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Keith knows.
Oh yeah.
This was our opportunity to have him on, to have Keith on.
Yeah. So he took 8th place in state in 2020. So it's February of 2020. He grew a lot, but he took 8th place for Lamont High School in Illinois.
Keith couldn't pull him to Little Rock. Didn't have the pull, but then he moved to Stillwater after committing to Oklahoma. Remained committed to Oklahoma, and now fall of senior year, flips to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
mean,
a
it's so when you see people move to Stillwater, you're like, oh, they're going to
Yeah.
freaking
Oklahoma State high.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did we talk about Zach Ryder to Penn State?
yes.
yeah,
we
I
did.
think
did.
so.
Okay.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
That was
So-
maybe on Thursday's show, I think. Wednesday or Thursday last week.
I think wasn't it even the week before that?
Yeah, it's been a minute. So
Oh, really? Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's correct.
So even the big dominoes starting to fall in 2024 now, as the pretty much all the big dominoes have fallen
Well,
in 2023.
2024, we should start seeing. I think as we close in on season, high school
As
season.
they finish up
because-
their visits and whatnot.
Correct.
Yeah,
They'll be
there's a
finishing
few.
up their visits.
Aiden Valencia, Stanford, Brockman. You go to see Michigan already?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know
yeah,
on that
I
one.
think so. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few already.
So I think, I think we'll have a few of those at AWA. I'm pretty sure Sinclair, Marisola, Charlie Millard. I think they'll commit prior to season. That's my guess.
Nice. So
Well, there's actually a lot that aren't out there because Sealy's. Okay, I'm just looking at the. This is you guys got to update this big board. This is as of April 18th for the class of 2024. You need to get to work on this, boys.
take it up with Mr. Brown
David will be
Thursday.
here Thursday, yeah. You can tell him.
All right, Mr. Bray, let's go. Sealy's uncommitted. Ferrari's uncommitted. Gibson going to Cornell. Shunky, he's gigantic. I got to assume he's playing football with as big as that dude is.
Yes.
Davino is uncommitted. Ryder just committed. Lilladal uncommitted. Hopke uncommitted. So, yeah, there's not too many of these guys that are actually committed anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's just 3 so far in the top 10.
Yeah, we did that like top 10 where we talked to a lot of the top 10 recruits and their parents. We should like follow up with that. That would be cool to hear because we did it like on the front end of their recruiting, like the week after coaches were allowed to call.
Yeah.
The first call.
So we talked to them and got a picture of like what they were looking at and how that day was for them. So it'd be cool to reconnect with those guys.
Yeah.
Oklahoma missed out on Heeg, but they did last week pick up a coach in Tion Ware, which I don't think we mentioned. So he had been at Oklahoma for quite some time, or Wyoming for quite some time.
I was sad about Michael Leitner's departure, and I'm not sure what happened, but Michael Leitner has spanned like 4 different administrations, right? I think he started with Jack Spates and made it through. Who else was there? Sammy Henson, Mark Cody. Am I missing one before Lou? Or is that all of them? That's all of them.
I think so.
I think Leitner made it through all of them somehow, and so he's always been a really nice guy, and kind of sad to see him go. But obviously, Tion's a great guy also, so congrats to him.
I think people, probably not your age and era, Ben, but definitely my age and younger, forget how good Tion Ware was.
Oh my God, he was ridiculous.
Yeah. He NCAA champ for the Sooners, 2-time, I believe. 4-time All-American and couple-time World Team member. Yes.
I think he only wrestled the World Championship one time.
Just once.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, he was always kind of competitive there. I remember this. This is where it's so sad that wrestling history is lost. And now you guys at Flow, you probably have this kind of thing. But Tion Ware wrestled Harry Lester. Harry Lester changed his name. What's his name now?
It starts with a J.
Justin
Yeah.
Lester. Justin Lester. Harry Lester was the real deal in high school, and obviously he went to Iowa State for a year and then transitioned to Greco. But he did it all in high school. And him and Tion had a match. I would say 2001. That would have been junior. 2001 junior duels, and it was like 13-12. And this match was so freaking fire. It was awesome. But no one will ever probably see that match because it wasn't.
That's why it's so.
To my knowledge, it wasn't filmed, but it was freaking awesome.
And the legend of that match will just grow bigger and bigger.
Yes.
Because nobody can ever watch it and be like, this looks like Schultz and Bannock wrestling.
Dude, these dudes were good. That's Christian Piles, don't get me started.
Okay, looking ahead, the next big non-high school tournaments, the U23 World Championships, which start up in about a week. I will be there, so I may or may not be on the show next week. But entries have come out, international entries. Kozak, kind of break it down for us. Who are some of the top guys, maybe some of the toughest weights?
Yeah, well, first off, it'll be interesting to see whether or not Iran is able to get into Spain. That's kind of like the big thing for them. As I guess Iran has this habit of applying for visas kind of on their own terms, and then just
they don't do anything on their own terms. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah. No, just the visa thing. That's all they do. But so yeah, there's talk like I don't know, they might not get in. It'll kind of be a last second thing, but.
Well, there's a lot of protests going on in Iran and about Iran right now. There's quite a few protests going on.
Well, that's one of the things that's really interesting for me is I'll check like an Iranian sports news site pretty much every single day or every other day, and lately it's been hard to get to, and it's just been redirecting it.
Your ass is on some kind of list.
Well, it's been redirecting it to their Twitter. And so that's one of the things that they're blaming the visa thing on is Iran's like internet is being, I don't know.
They're trying to crack down on their own internet so people can't communicate.
Yeah, so Spain was saying they couldn't get their visas and that kind of thing. I don't know, but it sounds like as of now they're planning on being there, and they're bringing a really good group of guys. So like pretty much every weight, look for Iran's guys. If their heavyweight goes, that's registered. Amirreza Masumi, he is the guy who.
That's not the guy. That's the guy that just hammered
Feldman.
What's his face? Yeah, that dude was a savage.
Beat Feldman.
Huge.
Yeah, he's only like 18. He beat Mohebi this year, and he lost to Zare like it was like 9-3 or something, 11-3, something like that. So he's kind of right there. I think I have him ranked in the teens somewhere at heavyweight. So if he's there against Cassiope, that'll be really interesting to see. And right now, I'd honestly favor Masumi just based on what I've seen.
Yeah, dude, he hammered Feldman. I mean, it was not competitive.
Yeah. So Little Yazdani is registered at 70. It could be like redemption. Yeah, for him.
Since he didn't get a wrestle.
Having to forfeit to find silver. So that'll be interesting. Their 57-kilogram guy, he's really good, Ahmad Javan. He beat Sarlacc earlier this year, and then he came back and lost to him. So he was like number 2 for their senior world team spot. Farazpour at 92 kilograms, I think he's ranked like 5th or 6th in the world. He's won U20s the last 2 years. He was senior Asian champ this year. So Iran kind of up and down. The lineup is really, really, really good. There's some other guys kind of sprinkled throughout. Hartunyan, who just beat Seth Gross, he's in at 61. Horslayer at 57. That'll be a good test for Vito. So Vito at 57, he should have some really solid guys.
Abe's there as well for Japan.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I missed that one. I don't have the full list in front of me. Just gonna have my list here. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like medals go, I think Vito has a really good chance. David Carr, I think Storace should win it. Trent Hidley, and obviously Cassiope won it last year. So I think we should come away with at least 5. But yeah, I think, 65s for Cole Matthews might be tough. 92,
Tavanian
97.
will be there at 65.
Tavanian will be there. 92, 97 are kind of wide open with Cardenas and Tanner Sloan.
Hey, kind of sidebar to this, but you just brought up 66. Is Yanni going to wrestle at the World Cup in December?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is Cornell anywhere that weekend? Is he just skipping it or what?
So yeah, Yanni, I think he talked on the Bader show. He talked on Bash's podcast as well. I know he plans on wrestling right off the bat against is it Gomez? Austin Gomez? They have a duel.
November 19th.
Is that the All-Star? Or that's
No,
got it.
no, Yanni's
Okay.
not in the All-Star. So Gomez will wrestle Yanni the 19th, and then he'll turn around and wrestle Sasso on the All-Star. But then I think Yanni's planning on wrestling a really limited schedule first semester. Like he might just wrestle.
So is he going to skip? So obviously,
first match.
bookending that weekend of the World Cup, they would have. I'm looking at the schedule. They would have the Cliff Keen before, and then the collegiate duels after.
Yeah.
So
The impression I got was Gomez 19th World Cup. That was
And maybe
kinda,
maybe the collegiate duels then, because that would obviously
It would be the following Monday, Tuesday.
be after.
Yeah, he would have a week.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because man, he's coming right off Worlds. He talked like he really wanted to have Amuzad, like he wanted to see him again, and it was more along the lines of he talked about this on Bader's show. He was like, I really want to know what I felt in that match and what I took away from there, and I'm working on is the right things that like I'm getting better.
Yeah.
He's like, I really want to know I'm getting better. So that's
That one
interesting.
would be a hard one because, I mean, man, there's. I just feel like there's not a lot of people who can generate that amount of power that
Mhm.
the Iranian did in that underhook type situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting to see if he actually. Yeah, I'd love to see that matchup again. I was really impressed with that Iranian kid.
Yanni also kind of stirred the pot this past weekend. I don't know when exactly he said this, but an account, the quote or the wrestling quote said heavyweights in wrestling are like kickers in the NFL, where they're playing the same sport but it's a completely different skill set, and attributed it to Yanni. I have no way of confirming if he said this or where.
No, I
when
found
he said
it. It was in the he did an interview with Burroughs right before Worlds. It's on Burroughs' YouTube channel, so I put the link in there. But
Heavyweights are significantly different. I don't know, really. I mean,
it's true.
I mean, offending them as much as the kickers, Yanni, you may be lit a little too far on that one. We'll give you that. I would say more like, let's see, what is a good analogy?
Like a tight end and a running back or something like that.
I don't know if we need a good analogy. Let's just say we just know what it is, right? Because of, and I always talk about the body dynamics. Like for example, your 106 pounders in high school, your 106s and 113s. Like if we're talking about the person stuffed underneath and they're stretched out on a single leg like this or a high crotch, like heavyweight, you ain't got to work no technique. Just put your hips on them, slide back, go behind them, right? And that's really like probably 182 and above. Like very few dudes have grips there. And then you go down to 106, ain't no one breaking anyone's grip ever. Like they just don't have enough mass. They don't got enough weight. Every 106 pounder can hold on to another 106 pounder like this, So then you got to get creative. You got to do some other things because you are not going to break their grip because it just doesn't work, And there's a whole bunch of situations like this. And so, yeah, I mean, heavyweight wrestling is significantly different, and you have to understand what you can and can't do. And like, so for example, a light guy, obviously I think most people think of it in a negative context, right? But a lighter guy could take a shitty shot and end up like this and pull that sucker in. But a big guy, a heavyweight, better not take a bad shot and be stretched out like that because they are going to get scored on pretty much 100% of the time, right? So they got to make sure their shots are a lot cleaner. So, in certain aspects, yes, it will be negative. It's not maybe as refined or technical. But in other aspects, it's like, well, no, you actually have to be significantly more clean because if you're not that clean, you're going to get punished and you're going to get scored on. So, yes, obviously positive and negative, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you hear guys who move like even 2 weight classes in college wrestling talk about the difference from 157 to 174 or whatever, 133 to 149. Like each weight jump, it's a little bit different. So then when you jump almost 100 pounds at heavyweight, it's very different.
Yeah, we saw this with Zilmer. Like he had to figure out how to wrestle heavyweights, and I think
'Cause I think he was one of those guys that held on to
Yeah.
legs. If I remember correctly, he was long and skinnier at 165 and like would really like pull things in and that type of stuff, right?
Yeah, and the jumps that he made even just in a year were significant, but he didn't just, and it's not a slight in some ways to heavyweights where it's like, you know, Zilmer, he had to take some good amount of time and really figure out how to be successful there, because it is a different skill set.
They have a totally different skill set. Yeah, so I would say it's obviously more limited, like for the majority of heavyweights. You know, like say, there are a few, right? Like Mark Ellis scrambled his ass off, for example, and was very, very skilled there. But the majority can't, and that's because the punishment of having someone that large on top of you, it's just not going to work out, you know? So you maybe refine the skill set by narrowing down the things that you can and can't do. But then the things you do have to be a little bit more precise to make them work. Like talk about being punished on bad shots, for example.
Yeah. This is where I would like to know, you know, where we don't have a lot of wrestling analytics and like stats. I would like to know like how are heavyweights scoring, you know, a bulk percentage of their points, and we could say,
Go
you know,
behind.
like we could say,
I can tell you that.
you know, we can say it's
I don't
on
know the
go
actual
behind, but it would be
percentage,
cool to see like, hey, 70% of heavyweight scoring is on go behind, whereas, you know, 40% of 149 is on in a single leg. That's where it would be.
What's
really
the
cool to see.
what's the one website now that is doing this?
Quant. Yeah.
Quant, yeah. I mean, so like another. I mean, if we want to keep talking about another position, but another position would be like, and this one annoys me because this would be one where little guys get away with it, and it's such crap. But and this is high school little guys. By the time they're college little guys, it's not near as much. But where they go underneath and they just hang on to the elbow. You know, like high school little guys, there's so many that do that and have success and get away with it and don't get scored on. You ain't doing that at an upper weight. You're just not. You're gonna get crunched, you know. So you can kind of be sloppy and go underneath and then hang on to an arm and probably prevent the score. But in upper weight wrestling, that ain't happening.
It's always interesting to me that in NCAA wrestling, so many heavyweight matches are 1 and 2 point matches, but obviously 95% of the time, the favored guy wins. Or like 2 dudes can wrestle.
You think it's that much?
Or like
I don't know if it's that high. I mean, I could see you saying it's higher than other weight classes, but
like I'm not saying that they're maybe I am saying they're less upsets at heavyweight, but like some guy can wrestle the same guy 10 times, and he can win 10 times, but he can win 10 1 or 2 point matches. Where I feel like at, middle or lightweight, if you're wrestling that many 1 and 2 point matches, unless you're Jason Surtis, like you're going to drop some.
Yeah.
But at heavyweight, it's just like they play with fire so much, but rarely get burned.
Yeah, that's something where I would like to see the stats before I take what you're saying. What you're saying is truth, because I'm not certain what you're saying. You might be right. I'm not certain of it. I mean, I would say, like we commented with the taking bad shots, you are more punished for not clean actions at the upper weights, and so you are naturally then going to take a few less chances. I mean, think about Gable Steveson, for example, who's probably the most elite at this ever. But like, how many times are you gonna take a shot on Gable and not get scored on?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, then you just can't shoot, or probably.
I don't like using Gable as an example for all heavyweights though, because he's
an
anomaly.
It is. I guarantee you, at heavyweight, the rate of being scored on from your opponent's shot, or you scoring from your opponent's shot,
the rate of scores per shot, either way, very high.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, scores per the total scores per shot will be higher, but I guarantee the percentage of being scored on when you shoot is way higher.
Do you ever watch a heavyweight match and it's tied match or 1 point match, and maybe the upset the lesser ranked opponent is winning, or it's tied and you're like, all right, dude, just don't shoot, and you got it. Or like
Mason Paris versus
you just know, like, you just know if you take a shot, like the better guy is just gonna down block and go behind, and that's all he wants. And then he just waits, and then the guy just takes a shot, gets stuck on his knees, and
Yeah.
gives up.
Yeah,
the
I mean
takedown
that's why
attempt.
a heavyweight would
It's
have
so
to
predictable.
the tactic that, and so I work with a lot of heavyweights. I love coaching heavyweights actually. So I work with Mark Ellis a lot at Missouri, and then Levi Cooper, Arizona State, and he All-American. And then I worked a lot with Trent when I was helping out at Wisconsin. Me and Trent like every week. It's like a big guy's got to get good at a high single so they can take more. Because again, if you shoot to your knees,
Why are you hitting your knees as a heavyweight?
yeah, so you have to be able to step to a leg because it lowers your risk percentage by a lot that you're going to get scored on, and so you can take a lot of attempts at it, step to it, and not have much worry about getting stuck underneath. So you can take way more attempts, right? Because to your point, when you're shooting your knees, there's a really high percentage chance you're going to get scored on. So you don't want to shoot your knees a whole bunch, because
Right.
you can't hang on to a leg here like a lighter weight could. So that, and then obviously battling to underhooks is, another position where, underhooks aren't nearly as effective at 125 as they are at heavyweight.
Yeah. Amjad might beg to differ.
Well,
Yeah.
besides the ranking.
I think step-ins and outside steps are even underutilized at middleweights
Yeah.
as well. Like, why are you hitting the knee if you don't have to?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, heavyweight's not. Yeah. Gotta stay off the knees. Yanni, that was offensive. Just say you're sorry to heavyweights everywhere.
Yeah. Another area where the analogy breaks down is that kickers are always the highest point scorers every year and all time.
Oh, stop.
Ben, speaking of different sports and coaching, I think you could learn a thing or two from this Texas Permian Basin soccer coach. Did you see this?
Growth mindset.
No, but I saw the headline and I didn't want to click on it.
This coach, Carla Tejas, which means Texas in Spanish. I don't know if you know that.
That is pretty hilarious.
She has been placed on administrative leave, according to AD Todd Dooley, after a series of allegations from an anonymous group of players ranging from illegal conduct to insane infractions to inappropriate behavior. Some of these infractions included getting arrested for DWI and having players pay her bail.
Tremendous. Who else would you want to pay your bail?
Right. Those are ride or dies right there. Kissing with the men's soccer team players in public. Distributing alcohol.
Wait, I'm sorry. What age are we talking about? High school, college?
College.
Okay. Well, at least it's not illegal, but still
That's right.
probably not.
Well,
something
distributing alcohol to minors is. That was
that
another
is.
alleged
Yep, there you
offense.
It's illegal.
Mm-hmm. She did other things such
This
as
lady's wild, huh?
encouraging players to foul and injure opponents, enforcing strict diet. That because
I don't
it's
see
with-
what's wrong with that one. That one sounds okay.
Well, because it's 18, 19-year-old girls, it caused body dysmorphia and eating disorders. She also encouraged players to say soccer comes first, basically saying skip class and don't really worry about your grades. She was kicked out of a game and came back in.
This sounds
that's
like
what
this.
it is.
You know who this sounds like? This sounds like Will Ferrell made a hilarious movie where he was the
Kicking and
youth
screaming.
soccer coach.
Yeah.
Yes, this is what this sounds like to me.
This is good though. Didn't she come back
with the
with
disguise.
the disguise on?
Yes, I love this lady.
There
This
was an
lady's my
MLB
hero.
player or an MLB coach who did that. Actually, I can't remember his name.
It's terrible.
And she coached with walkie-talkies after getting kicked out. Of the game.
Yeah, she's resourceful too. I love her.
How long was she a coach here?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
bringing her on staff.
She has still not been fired. Just
Oh
placed on
my God.
administrative leave.
What division is this? Division 2. Wow.
Texas Permian Basin.
Yeah.
That's how Division 2 gets down.
Yeah, that's your world, man. Yeah.
I think she needs to go to JUCO, like a Last Chance U type situation.
Yeah.
Man.
I need the documentary to come out about her. Send
Oh my
Netflix on it.
God.
You know,
It kind of sounds a little bit like Kenny Powers stuff too. So maybe they could make a
yeah, the
show
Blue
on
Mountain
it.
State connection was also made.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I think you could learn a thing or two about about actual good coaching, Ben, from Miss Tejas here.
Oh, I love it. The walkie-talkies is great. Genius.
Yeah, I think there were even more. There's a whole like Twitter thread about all the allegations against her, but it's pretty crazy. Fun times in the NCAA coaching. I bet get her to Division One, she'll take advantage of NIL. She'll be getting her players those deals. She's got the connects.
I think NIL kind of went away because not went away. It's not nearly as big, especially in wrestling, because people realized that kids aren't actually worth that much money, or there's only a very small amount of them that are. I feel like everyone's like, oh my god, it's gonna be this huge thing, and now it's like, it's like it's a thing, but not like a gigantic thing.
Have you seen the like the top 100 of NIL stuff and other sports?
We had that in the doc last week, but we never talked about it. 0 of them were wrestlers. A lot of them were just probably half-ish were highly attractive females who have large social media followings.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in that instance, their athletic prowess may or may not have to do a huge amount with their followings, right? And then a bunch of the other ones were high-level football and basketball players because they're the most talked about.
Yeah. I've kind of been following the NIL stuff in wrestling, and the Success with Honor, the Penn State's one, they've been the most active as far as like something that's attached to a school, and with wrestlers being a part of it. Penn State's.
Dayton Fix got a truck last week. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Big old jacked up Chevy.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. That's cool.
That was much taller than him. It was kind of funny. I'll see if I can get the picture here.
But yeah, it's also like the top 2 earners.
What exactly does the Success with Honor?
So Success with Honor,
do?
It's so they raise money to, obviously support student athletes at Penn State, but they also do it through subscription-based stuff for fans. So you can subscribe to Success with Honor at like $50 a month or $100, or there's tier levels, and they get like autographed whatever, or
What was this type of thing called? I can't remember. I thought they put out regulation on this.
NIL
what do you call it?
Collectives.
Collectives. I thought they put out regulations on collectives.
Yeah, there are. They can't be officially attached to like the university, but they can work in congruence with them. And sometimes, depending on the state, like coaches can barter deals even for their student athletes. Like some states are wide open, but it seems like as Success with Honor, they're really good with like fan engagement. So they've even had wrestlers on like different podcasts. They do meet and greets, breakfast, autograph signings, and you would imagine every time the athletes are doing something like this, they're getting paid for it. But they seem to be the most organized.
Or as part of a bigger contract, like over the course of the year, we're going to pay you X amount, and you will do this for us, type of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
One athlete who is getting paid, Texas QB Quinn Ewers. He signed an NIL deal for $1.4 milli.
Yeah.
I think it was back when he was at Ohio State, though. But if I remember correctly, it's pretty much just to sign autographs.
Yeah.
But I think it was this way, GT Sports Marketing, of like locking him in.
Oh, it's a deal in the future.
Right. He'll probably have to do more in the future, but it's paying off for him. They took a gamble before he'd ever even played a game, and now he's like the #1 quarterback in the country.
It's funny. A lot of the guys that are making money in the NIL space are all like former athletes, kids, or current athletes. Like so, you have the LeBron James.
Oh, I saw that. Shaq was on there. LeBron's kid was on there, right?
Yeah, Shaq's kids. Marvin Harrison Jr. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
There's the Dayton and his GMC.
Oh yeah, that's a nice
big old truck.
You can go around and do all the truck stuff that his heart desires.
Yeah.
Up there in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, we were talking about books. I think that was last week, and Alyssa reached out. with some wrestling books that he suggested.
I've read the majority of these.
Have you read this one? The Imaginary Girlfriend, Wrestling Memoir by John
I
Irving.
have not read that. I have not read that one.
I didn't actually look it up to see if it's real, but I choose to believe that it is a
I'm
great
sure
book.
it's real.
It's very real.
But I read the Oklahoma Shooter. That was fun. The Dan Hodge story. 4 Days to Glory. I read that one. That was a fun one. I've not read the Chris Taylor book. I did read Kurt Angle's book. I don't remember this Dream Team of 1947, but I feel like I read another Bobby Douglas book. So I was going to look that up. Actually, I saw this in the doc. I feel like I read a Bobby Douglas book. Let me look it up. Wrestling book. Yeah. So I've read the majority of these. Like I said, wrestling. Maybe you write more books.
I think I need to read The Imaginary Girlfriend, a memoir.
Why is it called The Imaginary Girlfriend?
I don't know. I need to find
you gotta
out.
Read it, yeah.
Yes.
I'm reading the description and
The
nothing.
Imaginary Girlfriend is a miniature autobiography dealing Irving's parallel careers of writing and wrestling.
That's just like you.
That's right.
So I have read this Bobby Douglas Life and Legacy of an American Wrestling Legend by Craig Sesker. I have read this one. And it's so awesome because on the front cover he's got his notorious fanny pack. We used to love that freaking thing in college. We would talk about
What's in there? What's in the pack?
what is in the pack, and we would always just make these hilarious stories about what he had in his pack. But then one time, I heard he showed John Smith a turkey claw.
Yeah, I would actually
like
believe
he's
it.
hunting, like he shot the turkey. So funny, right?
All right, let's get to some questions. From New Wave Coach, which, if any, small schools do you think will see the most improvement from last year in March?
Man, this is one we need to go research. And by small school, what do they mean?
Let's just do any school. Who's going to jump the most from last year's NCAAs to this year's?
Okay,
So I looked real quickly at last year's finishes to like our projection based off of your guys' rankings.
Mm-hmm.
So South Dakota State finished 44th.
Can you put these in the doc real quick? Is there any chance you could do that?
Yeah.
A link that way I can get on it.
I just wrote down 4 things.
Okay.
I put it at the bottom.
Got it.
South Dakota State finished 44th last year. We have them projected tied for 24th. Harvard, 52nd last year. Again, tied for 24th. And Northern Colorado.
They got Yaroslav back.
Slavkuski, yeah. Northern Colorado and Utah Valley were 2 other ones who were like 10 to 15 jumpers.
Yeah, if Alirez can get it together.
And that's what it kind of got down to.
Stevo now too. So.
And they got Steve Wynn. And Utah Valley has Demetrius Romero back.
But they lost Lamont.
He's in like his 19th year, so I'm not so certain he's gonna. Do that.
Yeah.
Okay, Ohio. I'm looking from the bottom. Indiana only has 1 point, so I have a feeling they might be able to go up. Chattanooga at 56. That's an interesting one because they just had a couple good.
Rocky Jordan.
They got Rocky Jordan. Didn't they get someone else? Who the hell did they get?
I don't know.
I'm trying to pull up the roster. That would be a good one. And then their 25 was pretty solid also. They got Jake Boyd, who he's a national qualifier type guy probably. He was at Oklahoma and had some medium results. Rocky Jordan. I feel like there was one more.
Logan Ashton.
They got that Camden Monroe kid. He was the one that beat Levi Haynes on the front side. Remember? And then he lost to him on the backside. No one remembers this. Just me.
I think maybe West Virginia could get.
Bracky, baby, let's do it.
Yeah, the Fighting Brackies. Cardinal could do well. Peyton Hall could end up doing well. I'm pretty high on Hilligus. He hasn't done much so far, but he transferred in from Virginia Tech. I think he could be a solid guy
Got Jordan Titus
for them
too.
as well.
What about Navy or Maryland? Is Navy is what, second or third year now under Colat? They got anyone that could break through?
I know they're bringing in a bunch of recruits, some really good ones. I don't know if they're poised for it this year,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
definitely in like 3 years, I think they could be really good.
Yeah. We got a couple guys. Cerniglia, solid. Coderham was solid too last year, right?
Yeah. What about Maryland? Did Maryland get anyone? Because I feel like they're another team that's obviously a Big Ten team.
I think their 125 could be pretty good. Braxton Brown, he redshirted last year, but I don't know. I don't think he's podium good. Maybe.
What about the guy that made the Junior Worlds?
Jackson Smith.
Jackson Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He maybe 197.
Yep,
Is so
he'll be another
low.
guy coming out of red shirt.
Yeah, but 197 is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Drawn Smith, I assume will go up to heavyweight. He was their 197 last year, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that'll be Smith's spot at 197. So he's another guy who could maybe win a couple matches for him at NCAAs.
Keith Gothard says
Uh,
Little Rock, of course.
Little Rock, of
Solis
course.
was all right too. At 174, he was all right. Yeah, maybe they could. I mean, so obviously, once you got to look at these bottom teams because once you get far enough up, it's way harder to move up. So you got to kind of look at the bottom 25 to 30. West Virginia actually wasn't that bad that year. I mean, so like if you're talking about West Virginia jumping 20 spots, they're 12th versus if we're talking about Chattanooga, they're still 35th.
Mm-hmm.
Or Harvard 32nd. So it's
I feel like
way
Oklahoma
more possible
State
to jump.
has to do better. It's just
How
weird
bad
to
were
see.
they?
14th.
14th. Yeah, but I mean, for that, I mean, obviously, the most spots they can move up would be 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely, if we're talking about the most spots to jump, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, true. Okay, from the real Avery Lynch, what is the biggest international match between currently active wrestlers that we need to see? Dake Sidikoff?
Dake Sidikoff, yes. Gable's not active, so we can't count him. So it's Dake Sidikoff for sure.
How do we see that one going?
Hopefully in our favor, but I mean, it's been a while now, right? So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any other ones that we really want to see? I mean, can we cross weight classes or no? Because I mean, if we can cross weight classes,
Yeah.
I would
not?
still love to see Jaden Cox versus Sedgelayev. I mean, I think Sedgelayev is a gigantic favorite, but I still just want to see how it goes. I would love to see David Taylor. I guess we've seen that one. David Taylor versus Jaden Cox again, even though we have seen it, but it's been now 5 years since we've seen it. It's been a really long time.
2017.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one though. I would love to see. I mean, maybe I like Jaden Cox, but I'd like to see him against Yazdani also. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's talk amongst the Iranian fans that so there's always an Iranian pro league that kicks up right after Worlds, kind of goes through winter, and all the stars wrestle in it. They don't always wrestle every match, but there's talk that Yazdani might bump up and wrestle 92 against Gasimpur, which he's 3-0 against them, but it's been a little bit since they've last wrestled. And then the Iranian fans, they want to see their lineup shuffled around to see like
Gasimpur to go down.
Gasimpur 86, that Farazpur guy at 92. And then they want to see Yazdani go up to 97.
What?
Some of them do. That was
Are you
something I was
kidding
reading
me?
this morning. But
They're like, I think their thought is like, they're like, all right, Yazdani probably not beating David ever again, unless there's a regression from David. Gasimpur though,
Yeah,
he could maybe get him.
Dude, he looked good against Cox. I'd be interested to see Gasimpur versus David. That'd be fun. Let's do it.
yeah,
I don't know if he can successfully make 86.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's that.
They said last year that he was still weighing light, because he had been trying to make 86 for years, but he's still relatively young. I think he's only like 24, 25.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think he's older than 26.
What about Cuddy make made up Burrows?
Yeah.
Have JB get a little redemption for Kyle?
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, Cuddy, man, he loves to talk, so
Yeah, it's
I'm
tremendous.
I'm sure he would ask for it at least. Yeah, I'd like to.
I would like to see Gilman get the Ugoyev match back.
Mhm.
Or Gilman, or Ugoyev versus the Legionary that just beat him
Oh
at the
yeah,
World Championships.
yeah, Abakarov.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which Abakarov has been wrestling 66 kilograms in the German Bundesliga. Yeah, Abakarov's been.
He's enjoying himself.
And
Okay, let this man live a little
So
bit.
he just won 57. He's wrestling 66 up there, and then Muzakayev's wrestling 75 kilograms. They have like different weight classes in Germany's pro league.
You know what I respect though is that they call it what it is. They didn't
Yeah.
say this is the weight class
50,
plus
57
4 kilos, but everybody
plus
gets
9.
4 kilos. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, well then just call it whatever they're weighing.
Yeah.
I agree totally.
Yeah.
Like the whole +2 is just dumb.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's still like this because I don't have to wait anymore. But when I was competing, I mean, there was only a few tournaments where you actually had to make scratch.
I think for the big ones like ranking series, Continentals,
Mhm.
Worlds, and Olympics and qualifiers, you have to.
Yeah.
But I think still for a lot of those random international ones, they'll give you 2 kilos. One last one that I want to see. I want to see Odaguru come back and take on
Amuzad?
Amuzad.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That is my wish
Man, are
list.
we ever getting Russia back?
I mean, it's not
I mean,
looking
that's-
great as far as just the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
could they just switch? I don't know. Could they just be like, all right, it's been long enough?
I saw something the other
Maybe.
day.
But I think the IOC would have to pull that trigger
Mhm.
before
Yeah,
UWW does.
I saw something the other day where it was the like International Boxing Federation, which is known to be
Corrupt?
very corrupt. They're letting Russia in, and it was like Sidikov was like, oh, I hope other international organizations do the same thing. But then other people were like, yeah, a corrupt organization is going to let Russia in, and
So
anybody
it's not a good look. if
anybody
you do
that
it.
follows suit is going to be considered, corrupt. So that was kind of the talk there. What about like American dream matches that haven't happened yet?
USA versus USA?
Gothard's saying obviously Gilman
Spencer Lee versus Gilman.
Gilman
That'd be the
versus
big one.
Spencer Lee. Is there anything else? I think I'd like to see Starachi Burrows. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm in for Strachi Burrows, Strachi Dake. I'm in for that.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Suriano in the mix at 57 too.
Yeah.
Plus Dayton
Yeah.
when he has to go back down.
Mm-hmm.
57 is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. Big time.
All right. Speaking of Carter Strachey, Dark Killer 175. Wow. Wants to know, based off of Carter's most recent interview, do you see him going 165 for the 23-24 season, and how would it impact Penn State's lineup? No, I don't think so.
I actually thought he might go up, is what I thought.
Did you listen to any of his interviews yet?
I don't know if it's
No,
live
but
yet.
we talked about it a lot on here.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, so you guys are pretty certain he was going 74 kilograms for 2024, which then would obviously make sense for him to go down and just get used to that weight. Man, I always had the sense that before that, I had the sense that he was big and that he may go up a weight class, but I guess that's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, he literally did for the Olympic trials. He went 86 kilos. But no, he stated as much at his plan. So say 174 and then drop down for the Olympic trials. I don't think he could consistently make it week in and week out.
Man, I mean, I don't want
successful.
to party on his parade here, but then it's like it does. If you're not used to making that weight class, it affects you, right? If you haven't made, and obviously 174 is 11 pounds above 163. So
It's a good
when
amount.
I was making it, it affected me, and I made it day before.
Mhm.
Damn, like it was
Yeah.
hard. Really stressed my body, and so if you got to make it that morning of and then wrestle, and he's not used to that, that might be hard.
Yeah. The interviews. I don't know if Starachi's full interview is up, but we have it split up into segments. I know that's up, and then Kirkfleet, the full interview with Kirkfleet's up, and Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks talked about his future plans. He says he's perfect 86, perfect size for 86, and he wants to wrestle through 2028. He talked a little bit about his MMA, I might want to fight, but he's right now, I want to win. I want to win the Olympics, and it'd be really cool to win it in LA in 28. So that's kind of cool to see. I'm excited about him being around freestyle for a long time. And then Kirkfleet, he shared that he's going to use all of his eligibility. I think he's got 3 years left.
What? No, stop.
Well, so this year, and then I think he's got 2 more.
Stop.
I'm pretty sure.
Everybody gets however many years they want now, Ben. There aren't no rules anymore.
Seems preposterous.
NCAA eligibility.
I'm looking. I mean, come on, guys. How does he? There's no way.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He was a freshman last year.
He's All-American. He redshirted in 2020. He wrestled 2021.
Got the free year.
Did he go? Did he do a gray shirt then also?
I don't know.
He did do a gray shirt because he graduated the same year Gable graduated, right?
No, he was a year later, I thought.
Wow, this seems preposterous that he has that many years left.
Well, you better believe it, Buster.
I'm doing my research right now to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but those interviews are pretty interesting. It is cool to hear from all 3 of those guys, and they're up on the site, so you should check those out. Maybe we can talk about them tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess he graduated in 2019. Wow. People get some serious eligibility these days.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild.
All right, last question from J Dubs. Is it realistic to think Cornell could be a trophy team this season? I don't.
No, the Cornell
I don't
roster.
see it. Definitely top 10. I think we have them ranked 8th for preseason, but cracking
Well,
the
who's
top
gonna score
4
big
is so
points
hard
besides? Who's gonna score big points besides Yanni and Vito? Let's go there.
to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
Big points.
That
So
big points.
Cardenas is going to be decent, but not big points.
Ramirez could be okay, but he's at 165, which is so tough. Fernandez could sneak on the podium, like 6 through 8.
They've got a lot of round of 12 guys who, if they were just perfect in that round, they could have 8 All-Americans or whatever.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it. I'm gonna say no.
I think Jonathan Lowe gets on the podium.
Fernandez was close last year.
Yeah.
But
I
you
just don't
gotta have the top 3 type guy. You gotta have top 3 guys. You could have a whole bunch of guys between 6 and 12, which they probably will, and they ain't gonna score that many points.
Right.
Great dual team.
Great dual team. Would win a dual championship. Well, maybe not win, but
Yeah, they would be competitive in a dual championship because they fill, from let's see, so heavyweight 97, 84, 74, 65. I would say all those guys are 6 to 12 guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 ways straight, and then obviously you got 2 real studs down low, and you're gonna fill in the other ones where I'm not as certain about Cornella or Greg D or these type of guys. I'm not as certain they're going to be as effective as those upper weights, but 65 to heavyweight, they got a really good solid guy at every single weight.
yeah, I think they're gonna have problems at 25.
Who's their 57 going to be?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
57.
I
Yapusian?
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Yeah, probably Yapusian. He's all right.
Yeah, NCAA qualifier.
Yeah.
Probably type guy.
Yeah.
Quinella, I think there's a lot of hope. He looked really good this past offseason. Obviously, made an H-level world team. I think they're going to struggle at 125, though, so.
Yeah.
Solid team, trophy team, I don't know, going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree.
And on that note, I think we're going to get out of here.
Hang on, I got something.
Uh-oh. Mark Bader! Let's go!
Okay, I was listening on the way in, on the drive in, and I came in and I didn't hear who this person was. I just started hearing all the crap she had done.
Hold on, where are you?
I'm within the eye shot of these guys. I'm in the studio. We have a little side table.
Oh, you're on.
I'm right here. I'm in the office with these guys. She's a coach or an administrator who was like, I turned it on and she's like, she did this and this. And Ben's like,
Mark
well, that's
is
not
jealous
illegal.
right now.
And then JD's like, well, she served him alcohol too and all these other things. And then she came in with the disguise, and it was the Mets manager who did that. But do you guys know that Ben did the same thing? Ben
I wasn't a coach, though. I wasn't a coach. I wasn't a coach.
He did, but the whole disguise thing. So, correct me if I get any of this wrong.
Okay,
you were in college.
I'm
Max was in high school. You went
Correct.
to go to the state tournament. You wanted to coach Max. You wanted to be on the floor, but because you weren't a high school coach and took the certification classes or something like that, they're like, hey, man, you really can't do this. And Ben, being Ben, did it as many times as he could and then got kicked out.
Not as
like,
many. I only did it once. I went down. The security is strict there at the Kohl Center. They kicked me out, and I tried to come back in. They kicked me out again. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna go watch the finals. I'm not gonna not watch the finals. So I put a nice glasses on and a hat, and I'm golden.
There was like videotape of it. His mom brought videotape. She was like, yeah.
Mark Bader, what a memory you have. You're a legend.
Like an elephant.
Like an elephant.
Ben, what happened to your hair? You're like...
Me? That's what my hair looks like.
Okay.
That's Ben every morning.
That's
I don't know if you
fantastic.
know,
I
Ben has
shower
an afro.
probably before the show. I probably shower once every 10
week?
shows or so.
That's okay.
Once every 10 shows.
Okay. Well,
Ben is still claiming he doesn't stink, that just doesn't.
Mark can vouch for the fact that I do not have body odor. We were on a camping trip for like a whole week, and I probably didn't shower. You want to hear what Mark did to me?
Go. What? I don't know.
I'll just tell about that trip we took.
I know the trip. It was fantastic. Ben jumped in a river to bathe. That's how he was bathing those days.
No, I had this girlfriend, and I knew I was going to break up with her after the trip. I had already paid for the trip, so I'm like, whatever, I'm going to go with her. And I told Mark and our other friend that, hey, like, I'm going to break up with this girl after the trip, but, like, I paid for the trip, so I'm gonna bring her with. They freaking tortured me, bro. They kept doing this. Like the torque wrench, like they were tension.
There was so much
tension. Cut
so
the tension.
It wasn't
and they
just a
wouldn't
regular.
stop the whole week.
It's not like we went to a resort. We rented a car. We rented probably an SUV. So we camped every night. So we were just in this car driving every day. Like we flew into San Francisco. Yeah, they were all in this one car. So it was like it wasn't like, oh, are they fighting? It's like the tension's right here. And it was funny. There was lots of. So I forget something about. She had this big bag, and she did have everything we needed in that bag. Like you need a Allen wrench, pull it out of the bag. You need a bandage, pull it out of the bag. That was funny.
What a
Good
legend.
times. Yeah.
I could tell some more stories about Mark Bader, but it might not be appropriate for FRL.
Bring it.
We're gonna save those. FRL After Dark with
After
C.L.
hours.
Williams.
Those are for the watch parties.
I got plenty of Ben
Those
stories
12-hour
to match.
watch parties.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Bader, for joining on these last few minutes. Thank you, Kozak, for hopping on today. Kozak will be back tomorrow joining us. Still no CP. He's still out east.
Who's Bader's guest on the Bader Show today?
Who's your guest?
Nate Carr.
Ooh.
All right, there we go.
With fire.
Which one, junior or senior?
Big guy.
Oh.
I got a
question.
story about Nate Carr. Bader, I don't know if you were there or if you're too old. Because you're pretty old.
Tell me.
But one year, Nate Carr came down. Do you remember Milledgeville?
Oh,
The
God.
Milledgeville stories also are only for FRL After Dark. We did this team camp in this place called Milledgeville, and
Georgia.
pretty much all the stories are only for After Dark. But one day, Nate Carr showed up. So this is 2000, we'll say like 2003, 4, 5, somewhere in there. And so he's well past his competing days. You know, he's like in the 80s. Dude, he gave Chris McCormick the biggest beatdown ever. He was just partying on us, dude. He would start using one hand on him. Oh my God, it was like the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, but Chris was losing his mind.
You know, like a pretty good college wrestler. And Nate Carr was just partying on his ass. It was like the funniest thing to watch.
That's
Were you
great.
there
That's
or no?
tremendous.
No, I wasn't there. That might have been, I guess that was after I graduated.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was awesome.
I would have remembered.
So stick around, tune in to the Bader Show. It'll be in just a little bit.
10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern.
We'll see y'all, the rest of you, tomorrow.
Hey.